everybody. Week 2 of NFL action coming your way. Before that, I'm Slim, he's Slam, and to my left, that is the Bandwagon fan. As always, folks, proudly brought to you by the Gym over on Facebook and JRV Electrical. Boys, how are we?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm going okay, thanks.
Ready for week 2?
Yes, I'm looking forward to week 2, actually. A couple of matchups to get into.
Back to Blaze this week?
Yeah, back to Blaze, mate. No
Perfect.
NFL this time. I'm just really under the pump lately with the intros. I don't know, it's just not coming naturally, but maybe I'm just getting back into the swing of things after
None
a
as
bit of a
bad
break.
yet as that stroke one of last year, though.
I don't think anything will ever be that bad.
No, I'm not sure it could be.
That was like I was...
Not unless you actually die.
Yeah, I was like possessed.
I'd be concerned if we saw something to that level again.
Yeah, it would be some kind of... Oh, I don't know what was going on there.
We'd have to have an exorcism.
Yeah, live.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Got a whole different audience with that.
Strange.
Oh, this tends to happen at least one out of the 2 episodes every week, doesn't it?
Strange vibes of it getting weird in the booth.
Yeah,
But
stranger things.
check us out over on the social channels, boys and girls, or on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Follows and subscribe there to help us out. New York Giants at Washington football team is going to start the week for us here. Not heaps in this. I think Washington too strong, and our 3 tips align with that.
Yeah, we do align with that, Blaze. It was a hard one for me to tip because obviously I picked the Giants for the division, but I didn't pick them in my year preview to win this game because I did have them winning last week.
Yeah.
If they don't win this one and they're 0-2, it starts.
They're
to
a long
get
way
hard.
back.
Yeah. I mean, the Eagles are the only team that actually won in the NFC East on the weekend, though, so they're not that far out of it yet.
It's not dissimilar to Houston, eh?
Yeah.
On top of the AFC there.
Interesting game here. Look, Washington defense is going to be way too good for Daniel Jones and his group of men who really can't seem to get any cohesiveness on offense going at the minute.
Well, what'd they score on the weekend? Not many points.
13?
You're really
13?
testing the memory. 13?
was 13.
I don't reckon they're getting 10 then against Washington.
Yeah.
Not against that front 7.
I will not say they won't get 10, but if Saquon Barkley gets his running game going, it'll be hard against
Maybe
their front
10?
7. 12.
12.
Yeah, look out.
4 field goals?
Yeah.
Look
I didn't
out.
think they were fine on the end zone.
Yeah,
Look
two
out,
20-yard
Neil.
rushes once you do a touchback from the 20, it gets to the 40, 2 60-yard shots, bang. New England Jets.
Thank you for stepping us through how that one's going to unfold. The New England Patriots are going into another team in New York that is going to struggle. We all think anyway. The Patriots under Mac Jones, who was really quite impressive in week 1, will take on Zach Wilson, who was also kind of impressive in week 1.
The rookie quarterback matchup.
Yeah.
Love this. Oh, we'll get this twice this year because the divisional games. That's cool. That's nice.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Glad
I
you're
think-
excited about this. Something in this game.
You got to find something to get excited about
Yeah,
for the fans.
I
about
mean,
New
we're
England
obviously not
at the Jets.
We're not setting the bar that high.
No, we're not. But it's,
We think Patriots get the job done here pretty easy. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
won't be
think
getting up
three
at 2:30 to
Patriots.
watch it.
Yeah. No, definitely not. I'm not going to tell you to watch this one either. Denver at Jacksonville is also on the list here. Trevor Lawrence will be looking to bounce back here after a disappointing debut, I guess you'd say. Not personally. I think
Not
he
a
went,
great day.
I think he went all right, but they did.
It was okay.
They did come up short against Houston. Denver, on the other hand, had a good win.
Yeah, so look, I'm going out on a limb here and tipping Denver.
Yep.
I think just from what they showed on the weekend, they played a lot better than what Jacksonville did. The big thing that I'll be looking for in this game, if I'm going to be looking for anything, is just going to be a bit more ball control from Trevor Lawrence. He had 3 interceptions.
Yep.
One of them really wasn't on him. One of them was forced a bit and one was bad.
Yep.
One of them, he thought he was Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that's not going to work in game
the
1.
left.
Yeah.
So look, you can go that whole nostalgia about it. First game, pick one, first game back at home.
I think that's what I've fallen into.
Yeah, and that's so I can see why you've taken him, but based on form,
I love a
Denver.
good story.
Yeah. I don't mind it. So
I
we
feel
are
like the
split
money. I feel like the betting line would be with you, surely.
It would be.
there. I think it would have to be, wouldn't it?
And also, on last week's too, Von Miller. He was back to some good form, so it was good
Yeah.
to see him get into the
We
quarterback.
kind of knew him and Bradley Chubb
scary.
coming back together.
I don't know if Chubb played last week.
Yeah, Denver are big favourites. $1.35.
Yeah.
That is short. That is very short. Hey, Buffalo at Miami.
So this is my game of the week, and when you look at the sort of fixture listing this week, you probably tell because we've got a lot of similar tips, but this is a big game for Buffalo, and Buffalo, for all those fans out there, know they're my number 1 team that I bandwagon the hardest for. If that makes any sense.
They're your first preference.
It's your biggest bandwagon,
Yeah, exactly right. Me and the Bills Mafia go way back.
Actually, is a video of you breaking a table as well.
Yeah, so
Might have to go that
it's
out
in
on the
my blood.
socials.
No, Buffalo here going into Miami. It's 3 Buffaloes from the team here, but off the back of the loss to Pittsburgh at home, it really stinks for them. Going into Miami, whose defense has Slammer and Chucky loves, is one of the better defenses in the league. It's going to be interesting to see how Buffalo respond. Josh Allen didn't play bad 273 yards. I think he missed 12 completions. Stefan Diggs didn't do much. Devin Singletary played well out of the running back position, so it just didn't click.
It didn't click. It didn't click. It didn't gel week one.
Unlike us.
Exactly. That was some good synergy. Absolutely. Gee, I'm going with everyone now. The one thing I will say about this one, the thing that I find interesting, you know how I love to go on these tangents.
Yeah,
Buffalo are going down to Miami. It's hot.
It's a long way.
It's a long.
Yeah.
It's not a remarkably long trip, but it is a vastly changing climate, and I think some of those Buffalo boys are going to get a rude shock.
It's still like spring though over there. It's not snow yet in Buffalo.
No, I know, but it's like in Miami, it's going to be hot.
Yeah, I know. If you were saying this was a mid-season game in December when you're going to get some tropical weather in Miami and some snow blizzards in
It's always
Buffalo.
tropical. It's always tropical in Miami.
So,
Just
yeah.
like it's always sunny in
But,
Philadelphia.
one to think about. One to think about.
It plays a part.
Sweaty hands, greasy hands.
The
wear
line's
gloves.
only 3 points here, so
So they reckon it'll be
They reckon it'll be
close.
close.
I think, like you kind of alluded to, Shanaz, that loss in round one for Buffalo against Pittsburgh makes this one of those ones. If you're red hot about being at the top of the AFC, the
Gotta
game
win
here
this.
against Miami is massive.
likewise for Miami. If they were able to win this, go top of the division. I know it's only 2 weeks in, but it's a real statement if you could do that against Buffalo, a team that went to the AFC Championship game last year. And if Tua could have a good game,
The other part of this is the 2 divisional games already.
Yes,
So they would have
exactly.
beat New England and they would have beat Buffalo.
yeah, that's a
Um,
massive start.
yeah.
Out of your 6 divisional games,
Yep.
mm,
And probably the
That's
2 teams
huge.
that are fancied to be, around you.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
If not a lot higher. It's exciting. I think it's an exciting.
it's a big game.
It's a big game
It's a
on
good-
a
it's a
couple
good
of
tip.
fronts.
It's not
For
must
the
win.
game of the week.
Yeah.
But
No.
it's a big game.
And Tua will be under the pump too, I think. He started well this year. He had a good week 1 outing. But that Buffalo defense is no joke either. So he's going to be under the pump. He's going to have to make some throws. And, it's all ahead of him anyway.
I'm excited to see it.
Yep. San Francisco go into Philadelphia. Philadelphia shocked everyone, I guess, with the way they performed in week 1 over
They
Atlanta.
did.
However, San Francisco is our pick here.
If they get a win
It
at
is.
home, I'll be even more shocked, and I don't know how possible that would be.
Yeah, I would be very,
I might have
very
this set
shocked.
stroke.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, the Jersey cartel, he will have failing health if they go 2-0.
All right,
Everyone will be stroking. It'll be like the Olympics. 50-meter backstroke.
Yeah, I was going to
Oh,
say.
right,
yeah.
okay.
Wasn't
Swimming.
sure where that was going.
Swimming. We've gone to swimming. But
I don't mind it though, really.
It's not bad.
yeah.
Backstroke.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yep.
There's 8 of them.
That's great.
That's about enough said
The
for
betting
this
line
game.
here is only 3.5 though. So if you like San Francisco to win easily, that's a nice little.
That's
That's quite.
good offer.
That's quite good. I like that.
I'll be thoroughly impressed if Jalen Hurts plays anywhere close to the level that he played last week.
Yeah.
Because then I might start to buy into a little bit of what he's selling.
They'll go as he goes, and if he can continue to maintain that level, there'll be
Happy days.
there'll be a definite fancy for the NFC East. That's for sure.
Well, That'll be halfway there to winning that already. I'll need 8 wins for the season. I'll have 2 after week 2.
That'd be a quarter, not half. But yep.
Same thing.
It's around the mark. It's a half of a half.
Yeah.
The LA Rams going into Indianapolis.
Mm.
Carson Wentz kind of shocked us with his starting, I
Yeah.
guess, is the best way to put it.
The fact that he was on the field. Yeah.
But the Rams, they didn't shock
Did he
us
get
too
injured?
much.
Was there
I
a
don't know.
50-50 chance when he plays against
I don't
injured?
think he did.
Yeah, if you don't watch
So
the
you're saying he's guaranteed to get injured this weekend then?
the Rams took care of business.
They did.
Against the Chicago Bears.
Oh, they look good.
yeah, they
yeah.
did. And I
They
think
looked
Good for my bet too.
they will probably be looking much the same this week, I think.
I think they're just...
I agree.
This is why I think that Carson might get injured this week. Aaron Donald,
yeah.
Leonard Floyd,
Do you think about
Brockers.
sitting him?
Well,
For the longevity and the success that Indianapolis may have this season.
Same thing.
Yeah.
is
I think
it the same thing?
Well, Indianapolis is in
In
Indiana.
Indiana.
Is it? Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah,
It's the
interesting.
capital.
Wow.
also where the Indy 500's raced.
Is that like Metropolis?
Yep.
Like where Superman comes from?
I don't want to go into that. You weirdo.
Anyways, bringing back some normality. 3 Rams from the fellas. Look for
Yes.
Stafford and his bunch of absolute weapons in that wide receiver room to go off. Look for Wentz to get injured, and look for us to move on to Vegas and Pittsburgh.
Yes, very nicely handled there from you, Shinazi, after I fell off the tracks a little bit. Pittsburgh will now host Las Vegas, and
Yes.
they will be looking to go 2-0 after an impressive week 1 showing.
Your game of the week.
My game of the week.
Talk us through
I
it.
think my thought process when we were picking these was that there's not heaps on the slate. right?
Not
There's
heaps
not.
in your thought process.
It's also hard to pick because you haven't seen Vegas yet, but I
Yeah.
like where your head's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My main point here is that I think after Pittsburgh's week 1 showing and whatever Las Vegas toss up against Baltimore, this matchup early doors is going to show you a bit about where these two teams are at in terms of their playoff aspirations. And I just think these are the kind of games against like-minded, like-leveled teams where it could be the difference between your wild card spot or not.
Absolutely.
And I just think you want to really put your foot down. If you're Pittsburgh and you go 2-0, you're really starting to
That's a strong showing, yeah.
starting to open up a little bit. So
And
that's
it's a
where
real
I'm kind of at with
flip.
that.
After the way they ended the season last year as well.
Both of them.
Ended it horrendously,
Both
Pittsburgh
of them.
did. So if they could be 2-0 and have beaten Buffalo, and if the Raiders win tomorrow, if they've beaten the Raiders, well, then that's a great win.
Yes.
Alternatively, if the Raiders get absolutely smacked tomorrow, you're all probably sitting there listening to this tomorrow and thinking, what's Blaze talking about?
Yeah, he's off his
Ignore it.
He's off his rocker.
Skip this segment.
That wouldn't be the first time people have hit the old skip 30 seconds ahead when I start speaking, but
Do it weekly.
you do it weekly. Your only regret is you can't do it live. Cincinnati Bengals at Chicago.
And some disparity in the tips.
And some disparity in the tips. So the Chicago Bears, they were, I don't want to say honourable in defeat to the Rams, but
It was an honourable first half.
they weren't disgraceful.
The second half was a bit
Yeah.
yuck.
It was a bit bearsy.
Yeah. Oh, it was very bearsy.
But
Will Justin Fields start? Was it bad enough in week 1 for him to start?
He won't start. He'll
he'll continue to do that little,
I don't like that.
Yeah, I hate it too.
I hate
if
that.
as how I have tipped. So I've gone for Cincinnati. You both
Yeah.
have gone for Chicago.
Yes.
This was one of the harder tips.
Now, if I'm looking like winning this tip, Justin Fields sees a lot more field time than he otherwise would.
Mm-hmm.
However, if they're winning the game, Dalton probably buys himself another week.
Yeah.
I almost hope I lose the tip then.
Yeah.
I see where your head's
I
at
just
with that,
don't
though.
like.
Well, Justin Fields, he got the touchdown today, didn't he?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had one of the. Yeah, it's just like you know what the ceiling is with Dalton.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere with Dalton. They clearly have enough trust in him to put him out there.
Yeah.
So why put him out there for one play?
Yeah.
Like, just let him go.
And that double option that he did take to the house was
Yeah.
quite a well run
And in that
play.
set,
Like, it
he'd
was well
had the
executed.
last. He'd been the quarterback for the last 4 plays of that drive
Yeah.
that they went and scored on. It's like, well, just give him the keys.
Yeah.
Also, another factor, a storyline that could play a part, Andy Dalton going up against his old mob.
One of his old,
True.
his old team.
Yeah, the old
Probably enough
Bengals.
said in that, to be honest.
The Bears are actually big favourites here, starting at $1.57.
Quite short. Yeah, look
3.5
out.
point favourites.
I
There you
don't
go.
mind it. Houston going into Cleveland. I don't think there's heaps to look at here. Cleveland.
This should be a pounding.
Cleveland. Speaking of honourable kind of losses, Cleveland definitely had one of the more respectable losses you can get in the NFL against the Kansas City Chiefs. So they should get the job done here against Houston very easy.
Yeah.
Unless
Lining's not
hell,
going to strike twice for Houston.
Yeah.
hell
within
would
2
need to
weeks.
freeze over big time.
Yeah.
Just to go any other way.
Sportsbet agree with you there, Blaze.
Yeah.
They're at $6.
$6.
12.5 points.
I was going to say about 11.5 sounds
Yeah.
right for that,
Yeah.
but
That's,
So-
that's probably around the line.
I would not
Yeah.
be surprised
12
if
and a half.
Houston don't put up more than 9 points.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't reckon they'll be getting into double digits against that defense. They don't look. Cleveland played unbelievably well for about 2.5 quarters of football.
Yeah.
And then there was 2 players or 3 players,
Yeah.
or the Stones as you'd call them, that just exposed them. And
Yeah.
Houston don't have any of that to be able to
No.
do that.
Tell you what, Jadeveon Clowney looked back a little
He
bit
did.
today as
He
well.
did.
With Myles Garrett coming one side and him coming the other side, that's actually quite scary.
That's one of the better 1-2s going around.
Yeah.
If he plays like he did play in Houston,
Yeah.
then very well they could be one of the best 1-2 punches.
Mm.
But a lot of water got on the bridge since his days in Houston, and he hasn't shown
It
much
is.
since then.
But it's a different scheme than what they were running in Tennessee. And Tony Romo was saying today that that's more his style. It's more, they're really just going to be asking him to rush the quarterback pretty much all the
'Cause
time
he
here.
didn't do much in Seattle either, did he, Clowney?
No.
No.
No, he's very, very
Didn't
light
really
on.
get started there.
Yeah. He was a disappointment.
Might
I
have
think,
found a
I'd say.
home.
Might have. And it might make them very, very good.
Well, Myles Garrett demands attention, and I think anytime that
Yeah.
the line is getting even subconsciously aware of Myles, and you've got Clowney
Just
coming the other
swinging
side.
it around the
It's a
sun.
two-man job.
Yes,
You can't leave that to one bloke.
Yeah, and Clowney's no joke when he's up and running. But like you quite
Absolutely.
rightly say, Schnartz, it's been a while since he was really firing at that
Good
top
to see
tier.
week 1 him playing well.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd tip
Hopefully he
I'd
continues.
tip the Browns to come back here in a big way.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I'm
Big,
gonna
big way.
continue to rock with New Orleans this week as they go into Carolina. Who's going with?
I've gone with
The
Carolina.
Panther here.
I'm
Yeah,
going with
okay,
Carolina.
Chucky.
You know, I've got a bit of a soft spot for Donald. He
You
did
do.
quite well week 1. I like the receiving options, and Christian McCaffrey
Yep.
is probably is he the best dual threat running back.
He's up there with Alvin.
Yeah.
He's got to be right there.
It's going to be 1-2 going against each other this week, right?
There you go. Yeah, well,
bang on.
maybe we'll
True.
have the answer for you next week.
Arguably, Dalvin Cook's also pretty good.
Yeah.
But, you know.
When Christian McCaffrey's up and about, he is insane.
Mate, no arguments.
It's very hard to argue that. Yeah, God, yeah. But I think an interesting one here for me is going to be to see how Jameis kind of backs up a week 1 performance which shocked a lot of people.
Yes.
Obviously didn't have a heap of yards, but he had the 5 tuds.
I actually think he's going to get quite a lot of confidence out of that.
I
Do you think?
he should.
I think so.
Because on the flip side, it could also be, week 1 he went out and there's absolutely no pressure on him, right? The media weren't expecting much. No one really was overly hyped about it. Now all the eyes are on him. Everyone's like, ooh, he started hot, 5 touchdowns, no picks. Do you think the moment could get to him?
No, I think he's quite level-headed to be honest.
Yeah.
Does a lot of
He
weird
did steal
stuff.
some crab legs.
The
He's
licking-
done a few weird things
The
like
eating
that.
the W's and stuff. There's
But,
he does weird stuff.
He does, but I think he's
he's an entertainer.
on the footy field. I think he's
Personally.
pretty smart and pretty level-headed in the sense that how he plays the game.
Yeah.
So I don't think the occasion's going to be too big. And you've got to remember here, he's played some big games before.
Yeah,
for
he
Tampa.
played in
He's
national
played in the
championship
playoffs.
games.
He's played at Florida State. He was huge. Did he win the Heisman
think-
one year?
I don't know if he won the Heisman. He was the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
I
won the
think
national championship.
Yeah, he definitely won that. So, I don't reckon the occasion's going to be too big for him. He's only playing Carolina.
Mariota won the Heisman.
Yeah, correct. Mariota went 2.
Mm.
Shout out Marcus.
At Vegas.
As far as defenses go, if the pressure does come on Jameis this week, I think the
It's not going to come from Carolina.
young Carolina defense is
They
probably
are the
not
youngest defense in the league.
the one. Yeah.
And I actually had a look the other day. I was watching Good Morning Football. They talked about the defense of them for a little bit. In the back half of last year, they went to being one of the top 5 to 6 defenses in the league with the youngest. Their average age on defense is 24 and a half.
Jesus. That's sub us.
So if they, exactly, which is alarming. So if they
Considerably.
improve at the same rate they were doing last year, this defense by next year could be no joke.
Absolutely.
If this offense starts to click and takes off, Carolina, as we said, could bounce
called
back
it.
in a hurry.
You called it. You said they're going to be sneaky good, and if you want to find a team to support, this could be them.
Yep.
Just not this weekend for mine.
No.
Fair enough. Me too. But Minnesota at Arizona. The Cardinals with a big win in week 1, really stamping
You don't have to
himself.
say much for this one. I think
Yeah.
with the standard that they set. The big thing to watch here is last season, Slammer described in the last episode as the yo-yo effect.
Yep.
Last year, they
Yeah.
were up and down like crazy. So,
Yeah, if that's going to continue, they'll lose this week to Minnesota at home.
Yep. And that would be a really big
That'd be a
red
shame.
flag.
Yeah.
And a shame. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. But I don't think it will. I don't
think it will either.
I think Kyler just looked really good on the weekend.
And did anyone see how JJ Watt went?
I didn't.
Do you
actually,
think
no.
that the presence of JJ Watt allowed Chandler Jones to get 5 sacks? Because it meant that there wasn't that double team on Chandler Jones like there would have been last year?
I don't hate the theory.
I don't hate the theory as well, but I don't reckon it helps him get 5.
Yeah.
No,
That's a pretty individual
5's
performance.
outrageous.
Might have pushed him from 3.5 to 5, perhaps.
Yeah,
Something
that's
along
true.
those lines.
The betting line here is not crazy either. They're only a 3.5 point favourite. So I feel like if you'd like Arizona, what you saw on the weekend, $1.84 is money for jam.
And you don't love the Vikings either. Like,
No.
Kinda,
Fairly underwhelming.
but they're hard to pick up.
Fairly underwhelming
Yeah,
at
once-
Cincinnati.
If there was 2 teams that were yo-yoing last year, it was these 2.
Yeah, that's
Fair
true.
enough too. Hey, KC at
We all took
Baltimore.
Arizona.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
KC going into Baltimore week 2. This was the collective
Yes, the
game of the
unanimous
week,
game
the
of the
obvious one, which is will come as no surprise to many of our long-term listeners and fans because we are 2/3 Kansas City Chiefs fans. So we love the Chiefs, and anytime they're going to play Baltimore, who are one of the stronger teams in the AFC, they do have Lamar Jackson.
A little bit decimated with injuries, aren't they? Though?
Their
Yes.
running back room,
Gone to hell. They signed Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, I did
that
see
shows
that.
desperation.
Because J.K. Dobbins is done for the year. Was he an ACL as well? Can't remember what he
Can't
was.
remember if they
Anyway,
confirmed ACL.
Ingram
Gus
was already out
Edwards.
Gus
there.
Edwards.
Ingram's gone. He's
Yeah.
in Houston. Yeah, Gus Edwards has done his ACL last week. Marcus Peters did his ACL. Do you know it was in back-to-back plays
Yeah.
at training?
At training.
Back-to-back plays, and Harbaugh called the whole training off.
That's
Do you reckon they were
amazing.
training at MetLife?
You have to be. There's something in the grass.
Maybe.
Or the turf. They play on AstroTurf there?
No, not in Baltimore.
No.
No,
MetLife.
MetLife is, I think. Isn't it?
No,
it's
no,
grass.
it's grass.
Because we saw the pictures last year when they were turning it.
Oh, they were turning. Yeah, of course they were.
So three Kansas picks. The one thing that I want to call out here, I fully expect the Chiefs to win, but as at the time of recording, it's a bit of an unknown about
Oh, it's
Baltimore.
in Baltimore as well.
It is in Baltimore, and if they come out and impress the socks off everyone tomorrow, that's a weird saying, but anyway, we'll go with it.
I liked it.
It should
Take my
bode for
socks
another
off.
good game. You know, if I was could say one thing about being a little bit disappointed is like the Chiefs' schedule starts so hard, then it softens up.
Yeah.
And then, you really lose that battle-hardened element throughout the year. So you start on fire in September, you mosey your way through, you rest a few players. You sometimes struggle to find that momentum going in the back end of the season.
We said that last year too. They sort of dipped between like round 9 and round 12. They had a bit of a soft spot and then, picked it back up again.
Well, even if you think back to the
After the
Super
bye
Bowl
round.
winning year, like they were a bit light on towards the end of the year. Every playoff game they featured in, they struggled out of the gate.
Yeah, well, they were behind.
They
every
needed the
single time,
pressure
yeah.
to kind of get going. So maybe that's just a watch for them.
I think because they play Buffalo quite early on as well. I reckon it's in the first 5 weeks.
Week 5.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's good. I mean, you can only beat what's put in front of you with the fixture.
Yeah,
but
you can't really do much about it.
I do look a bit into
And this
that.
game last year too, wasn't it a blowout?
Yeah, it was actually in
Yeah.
Baltimore as well. That was a Monday night game last
Yep.
year.
It was
Yeah,
prime-time football.
we watched it here.
They destroyed
Yeah,
Lamar.
we went nuts, yeah.
Completely destroyed Lamar, and Paddy did what Paddy does. So, I mean, the big watch, obviously, as it always is the KC offense. But I think with that running back room of Baltimore being so decimated, they are going to have to start to lean on Lamar's legs even more, which probably
Which is dangerous for him.
which probably defies
which is
belief.
a worry as well.
Yeah.
It's not what they want to. It's the wrong direction for Baltimore to be trending.
Correct.
You want them to be moving
Said
more
this
in the opposite
all
direction.
last season too. We want them to throw the ball.
Yeah.
You lose your running backs. You're going to use him as a running
It's
back.
also like we've seen it quite a few years in a row now with Baltimore. This sort of thing doesn't work in the playoffs.
No.
It sort of screams Geelong for to bring up something that's going to hurt. Playoff stuff. This doesn't work for Baltimore
Yeah.
when they get into the playoffs. So they need to make sure they can play from the pocket
And
and pass.
particularly-
You need to be able to come from behind.
particularly in the AFC.
Yeah, and against this sort of team.
Maybe in the NFC you might be able to get away with it a bit more, but in the AFC at the moment it is so
The AFC's hot.
It is so high powered in
Yeah.
terms of the passing
And
game.
All
It's
most of the
ridiculous.
quarterbacks are 27 years or younger.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
like 3 older than that.
And if you're going to roll with Lamar Jackson for the foreseeable future, like you're going to have to be able to win shootouts, and that's just the way
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, you're not going to win a game in the playoffs with 20 points.
And
You're
to
just
deny
not.
that, if you're not going to follow that school of thought, I think you're going to have some light years, or some
absolutely.
disappointing years, definitely.
Alrighty.
Like they got a good defense.
Yeah, lucky indeed.
So 3 Chiefs there.
3 Chiefs indeed, but a really cracking game. Probably the pick of them, in my opinion, anyway. Humble opinion. Atlanta at Tampa.
Surprise.
Atlanta at Tampa Bay. Tampa Tom got the win in week 1 against Dak Prescott, and now he's going up against Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
Hate to
who
be a
had a
Falcons
pretty
fan
dirty
because
day.
I think this probably Slam and picked 13.5 last week.
Yeah.
That's the line. I'll
Well-
be going more this week.
12.5 this one's set out
Yeah.
currently. So
Remember the last
equal
time-
biggest one of the.
Well, not the last time, probably there's 2 times ago that Matty Ice and Tom Brady squared off.
Yeah, when it was 28-3.
Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
end too well.
We love bringing that up. Matty Ice.
He's had a tough time. Hasn't been the same since the offensive coordinator changed hands.
Nah.
Has not been the same
It's not
at
been the
all.
same since the second half of that Super Bowl.
True,
No,
actually.
it really hasn't.
Probably his psyche
And that was
shattered.
a fair while ago too. Damn,
It's quite a long time ago, yeah.
Absolutely.
Matty Ice, I'm putting you on notice.
Yeah?
Put him on
Start
notice.
playing better.
Go him,
Yeah.
Snars. You got any more for him?
No, mate, look, we'll see how this game goes.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've got one of the best young receivers in the game, in Calvin Ridley.
My guy.
Sam's guy, Sam's mate
You
Cam.
got Kyle Pitts down
You
there.
got Kyle Pitts down there. You've got some players. I know your defense is no good,
Yeah.
but the only way to beat defense is with offense.
Tampa Bay dropped 50 here.
Nah, they'll put the Q in the rack.
Q in the rack.
Yeah,
I reckon they might drop 50. 45 at a minimum.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Put it out there.
Keep
I reckon there's Brady 4 touchdowns.
4?
Yeah, because they're going to be out over the back here.
What, put in the second stringers and still get up to 45? I can see it.
Yeah,
The way Atlanta's defense was, seriously. They go at 38 to Philly.
yeah, Blaine Gabbert might come in.
Jalen Hurts looks like an All-Pro.
Yeah. It's
So I wonder what the guide will look like.
Yeah. It's a concern.
70 points.
Yeah.
It's a real concern. And if you're a fan of offensive football, perhaps watch that one because
You'll get half a very good game.
there'll be plenty of
We
goals.
spent too long on this game.
We did,
Yeah.
we did. Tennessee at Seattle. Probably stiff not to be in our games of the week, really, in terms of two.
Tennessee don't deserve it after the way they play.
Exactly right. Exactly
They've
right.
burnt their bridge with us.
Yeah. I think they
week
really,
2.
they really did. I
A
think
week's a long time in football.
It is.
we all went into it with cautious optimism for Tennessee.
We looked at
and-
the obvious upsides,
Yeah.
and there was a few holes.
I feel like we
didn't see
both had them 11 and 5.
You know-
11 and 6.
Yeah.
Something like that.
You know what we didn't give a shout out to last week in the Arizona game was the big man out of Clemson,
Isaiah Simmons.
Isaiah Simmons. He leveled Henry twice.
Yes.
And he leveled him once at literally on the goal line too. Stopped him
Yeah.
from getting in there. That was a huge performance from him. And I expect Henry to turn it up a bit more this week because it wasn't up to his MVP-like
No.
caliber standards.
Yeah, he had 50-odd yards, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Arizona's
Arizona's
nuts.
defense for last year they were the issue.
Yeah.
It wasn't really the offense. Like they were not a great defense last year. So that's a fairly good showing against arguably the best pure rushing running back in the league.
Seattle's defense did struggle a bit last year, though. So if there's time to get going,
Yep.
get Seattle early.
Test that
I like
secondary
I
out a
like
bit.
Seattle at home. Seattle at home are always very, very tough.
Seattle
to
in the
beat.
first 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah, Tennessee. I don't feel good for you, and that's why we've got 3 Seahawks tips here.
Indeed. Dallas going into Land at SoFi Stadium.
This will be a
here.
Dallas home game, Blaze. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
That's not. That's like. I know it sounds like I'm taking the piss, but that's not a joke. Dallas travel well because they've got fans everywhere, and the Chargers have been in LA for like 2 years, and they don't have that many fans. The San Diego people are still ticked off.
Yeah.
This will genuinely be a predominantly Cowboy stadium.
Yeah. Well, watch this space on
Jerry
that
Jones will buy all the leftover tickets and just give them to people in the street and say, here's your jersey, get in there.
Yeah, here's your free hat.
I don't
You know
mind.
what it's going to be, though? It's going to be a game where the ball is absolutely slung around.
Yeah.
We're going to see at least 350 yards from both quarterbacks here.
Definitely. I would be definitely on board with that. I think the way Herbert has started and then obviously Dak's performance against Tampa Bay, I think this has got shootout written all over it,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
I do
Chargers
too.
are 2.5 point favourite here, and
Yeah.
I like the Chargers. Who's gone with me?
I'm over on the Cowboys.
Snaz with me.
Yeah, I went out in the Cowboys. I think it's a pretty close to a 65-35 kind of split, I would say, in favour of the Chargers. But Dallas obviously showed against Tampa that they've got a little bit of something this year. They got a bit of spunk about them. They're not going to go down without a fight.
I think you'll learn here a lot about the Cowboys because it could have just been, it's opening night with a marquee game, with a prime time. It wouldn't surprise me if they completely fell off a cliff. But if they're in this game up to their neck in the last quarter, maybe Dallas are the real deal. They could be 0-2 and still be a very good football team.
And certainly
And they'll make the playoffs in that division.
in that
If they
division.
keep playing the way they did on opening night, they will.
In the NFC East. And the last game on our list here is of nil consequence to anything, really. Green Bay are going to host Detroit. However,
It'll be of consequence if Detroit win the
Green
game.
Bay lose,
exactly.
consequence,
Exactly.
mate.
Exactly.
We'll have to do a half an hour special.
If Green Bay lose to Detroit, it could end the show. I don't
They're an 11.5 point favourite.
It's going to be very, very hard to comprehend.
Detroit played a lot better than Green Bay did in week 1.
God, yeah, they did.
So to be an 11.5 point favourite, that doesn't really...
It's got Jacksonville
Doesn't
from
really make
last
sense.
year written all over it.
Yeah, done it.
So it's, the sun is setting. It'd be nighttime over in the States now. Green
Middle of the
Bay,
night.
Green Bay had a very, very disappointing performance.
Yeah.
The sun will come up tomorrow, as it always does. But what Aaron Rodgers did and what they served up was
Trash.
subpar, and it was trash.
Pathetic.
And the fans are going to be angry. There's going to be a lot of animosity in that building. You rock up to training. It's a real watch for me how that's going to unfold.
They don't take the
48
losing
hours.
well in Green Bay.
No,
either.
they don't.
No.
And
They're
I just
often
think
used to losing.
All NFC North teams lost on the weekend.
you cannot underestimate. Yeah, they did. You
Absolutely
cannot
won.
underestimate the body language factor for me. I just think the way Aaron Rodgers was carrying on the sideline, it says a lot about the fact he didn't want to be there. And watch this space.
I just want to pump up our own tyres here, all three of us. We said the NFC West was the best division in football.
Yep.
They all won.
Yeah.
We said the AFC West is probably the second best division in football. So far, they've all won.
Yep.
It's only the Raiders tomorrow.
And if they beat Baltimore,
Yeah.
well then.
So basically, we're on.
well, yeah. Pump up your tyres when you can. So
That's it.
that's it.
That's it.
There is no guarantee.
No, there is guarantees on the social media.
Correct. Thank you, Schnaz. That's what I was going to say. So they are coming on the social channels.
Might give the fans a stroke.
Yeah, well, we don't
No
want
guarantees.
We don't want any more of that, but the guarantee will live on, just on another platform. It's just become a little bit hard for us in terms of it.
It's just too hard to pick a week out.
Yeah.
Because you don't get any of the lines for receiving or rushing or touchdowns or anything like that. You can only pick winners and losers and handicaps.
So make sure you follow us on Facebook or Instagram, depending on where you get your social
Post
media
it
content.
on the socials.
Post
It'll
it
be,
on
out,
the
it'll be
socials.
out there for you to digest.
Still on
follow.
for you.
Maybe we'll do one. Could we do a Thursday night one together, Schnaz, and then we can both do our own for the Sunday slate of games?
Two of the best. We each pick 2 legs
All right.
from the Thursday night football game.
All right.
Multi that's 4 legs.
Yep.
And then we still have that individual comp.
All right. I love it.
See?
Done.
And that's what we do. We do this shit on the fly sometimes. And that is just good TV. That's how you make good TV. So stay tuned on all the social channels for that. You like that? Just giving it some. Poor old Schnaz. He's having a tough night. We're gonna wrap it up now. That's all we got for week 2 preview episode. So thank you again for joining us over on Slim Slam and the Bandwagon Fan, wherever you get your podcast, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, all that good stuff. I guess we're going to thank Jersey Cartel and JRB Electrical again, as always, sponsoring the show and doing such a fantastic job for us and all the sports fans who follow. Slammer.
He's been Slam. I've been Slam. That's the Bandwagon Fan. Good night.